Every time I use this infernal operating system, I'm reminded why I don't.
It's not even a hot take, it's just facts.
Anyway, so first things first, I decided to go and name that Elder Guardian, and I discovered that nowadays in this game, if you drink milk, your mining fatigue comes back almost instantly, so that's great. So I decided to push the cow over to the Elder Guardian so I'd have easier access to a supply. So after some quick mining and discovering that I guess it's a bug that the Elder Guardian thing that comes up when you get mining fatigue makes glass disappear behind it. Bedrock. I named him Clive, and then immediately started the procedure of killing him because I was sick of mining fatigue. After various failed attempts, I just swam straight in there and started battering him. Sorry, Clive. With that done, I got rid of the remaining mining fatigue and was on my way. I'd previously found a stronghold down here, so I headed back down in search of it. It didn't take long to find, but what did take long was the countless amount of time. I don't even know how long it was that I spent after that going around it. Felt like I was probably going in circles, even when I tried to block up where I'd been. It was a mess. I could not find the portal room anywhere.
Day 2.
Well, I'm doing this again. Eventually I gave up with this as well and went back up to the surface, and opening one of these chests gave me an achievement for mining a lot of stone and filling a chest with it, so that was nice, I guess. At this point, obviously, I wasn't hunting for achievements, I was just planning on respawning and killing the dragon. I then jumped into this destroyed chunk, failed to activate my elytra, then succeeded in activating it, and then immediately deactivated it again, causing me to die. Fortunately, I was right nearby, so I headed down and collected all my stuff. I then proceeded to carry on searching the stronghold, because that was destined to go well, wasn't it? I even checked some old videos to see if I could get any kind of clues, but I couldn't. Then I landed a bit too hard with the elytra and died, right next to my bed.
Day 3.
Thought I'd vary it up a bit this time and look through some ravines and stuff, and some gravel as you do, and then I headed up to the other side of the world, see if there are any more resources that I wanted to take. And then at one point I jumped down here. I didn't activate my elytra because I thought it was going to land in water, but then my Frostwalker boots froze it over and then I died. Not to worry, I guess. I went back and collected most things. I lost my pickaxe though. I never did find what happened to it. I guess it just despawned. Anyway, after collecting a load more food, I carried on looking around this general area. I'm not entirely sure why, but whatever. Then I headed into the Nether. And I thought I'd try my hand at trading with piglins, because why not? And I got some gravel. Pleasure doing business with you. Back in the overworld, I ended up back where I'd started in this world, and I got revenge on that drowned, even though I wanted to be killed by it in the first place. But oh well. I checked in on the original Clive, and he was fine. Then I decided to look for another stronghold using Eyes of Ender, obviously. I went and landed a bit too hard with the elytra and activated a Totem of Undying. Definitely worth it, not a waste at all. Still, I got an achievement for it, and I thought I'd bounce on these slime blocks for a bit of fun, and then really struggled to get out for some reason, for a solid minute or two. Anyway, I eventually got out and started throwing Eyes of Ender whilst in the air, because what could possibly go wrong? Nothing actually did go too wrong, really, apart from the fact that I just ended up really far away and started getting fed up, and eventually just gave up for the day.
Day 4.
So, remotivated, I headed back towards the base. But now I'd done some further research and had coordinates for the stronghold. So I headed to them, and reasonably quickly I found a massive tower with ladders that led straight down into the portal room. So in I went. Okay, with an idea of the end spawn, not that I really needed to know that. I had a bit of a look around the stronghold to see if it was the same one I got lost in before. It didn't seem to be, but oh well. I then took some dragon's breath out of a chest, just because why not? And it gave me an achievement for that as well, so nice. There was another portal in the portal room, fittingly. So I went through it to see what the situation was, and I realised it was really not that far away from the original portal. This made it easy to pop back to try and find the end crystals that I'd seen before, and obviously lost at some point because they weren't anywhere. Fortunately though, I had enough stuff to make some more. So I got the glass and the gas tiers and headed back to the stronghold where I knew there were Eyes of Ender. With all this stuff, I made 4 end crystals and headed back to the end. After respawning the dragon, the fight went as well as you'd imagine. Well, at least they seem to have fixed that bug where the Ender Dragon's health regenerates when you leave and go back into the... Oh, come on! Break. Break. Why would you break? Just explode! It was worth it. Oh, why do I bother? Next. Eventually I came up with a strategy wherein I'd take a stack of cobblestone with me every time, and as I spawned I would pick up the slowly decreasing stack of carved pumpkins that I'd left behind, took one to put on my head and then left the others there, so every single time I was killed, joke's on you, I'm prepared. This was a slow but successful strategy because eventually... So with that done, I did some enchanting, making me feel like I was playing the game properly again for once. And I headed back to the end, I guess in hopes of finding another elytra, because I just didn't have one at this point. I lost it at some point. But I couldn't find an end city, let alone one with an end ship. So I decided to make a copy of the world, because we know how well that went last time. But fortunately I'd learned from my mistakes and nothing went wrong this time. And I even found an end city soon, sadly with no end ship, but hey ho, I'd kill some shulkers. At this point I decided I was going to start trying to collect achievements. So I started making the more niche tools, because I was close to getting the more tools achievement and I didn't know what I was missing. I also got the farming achievement as well, from the hoe. I then got the catching, cooking, eating, whatever fish achievement, but I think OBS must have just perfectly lagged out me actually getting and cooking the fish, because it cuts straight from me without the fish to me eating the fish in a matter of seconds, with a lot of lag. Next up, I was going to craft an enchantment table, so I headed back to the nether, grabbed some obsidian from a old unlit portal, and got that. Then I went to get the oak sign achievement, but made the sign out of the wrong type of wood and didn't even really notice at this point. The next I was going for was putting bookcases around an enchantment table, so I harvested the books from the ones that were already up in the armory building, then stole some of the wood from the floor, and threw together some new bookcases, which I then started putting around the other enchantment table. Apparently this is good enough because I got the achievement. So I headed off to the other side of the world and enclosed this convenient ocelot for trying to feed it cooked fish, and then researching and finding I need raw fish, which I then got some of and succeeded in taming said ocelot. Then made and placed a flower pot. These are really challenging. I then tried to get the achievement that's something to do with making charcoal out of charcoal, but failed abysmally at it, so oh well. I then went in search of some cows to breed and couldn't find any.
What? No, they aren't. Shut up.
The next morning I harvested a bunch more wheat and successfully found some cows. I've never done this before, but... oh, well, there we go. That was a piece of cake. I then tried to tame some more ocelots to get them out of this water, but they seemed okay and I ran out of fish. The next one I was going for was swimming in lava with fire resistance potions, and because I couldn't be bothered to brew the potions myself, I headed back into the nether to trade with piglins, because I know they can give you a fire resistance potion, and I don't know, why not? It's an excuse to use a 1.16 feature. Pretty soon I got some. Well, that was easy. So I ironically went back to the overworld for this, because I didn't want to get killed by a ghast or something, and I swam in this pit. Does this count as swimming? Why are there furnaces down here? Oh, well, apparently it does, because I got the achievement. Speaking of cake, a few minutes ago, that's what I made next. Yum. Next up, I headed back to those armor stands and took that wither skeleton skull, and also the elytra that I'd forgotten was also there. I also spotted a full set of leather armor, and I'd seen an achievement for dyeing it a colour, so to save myself making it, I thought I'd just take this. Then I just closed Minecraft by accident. Anyway, as I was saying, I picked up that leather armor and headed back into the nether, where now I wasn't wearing any golden boots. A bunch of piglins started attacking me, but instead of killing them, I just dropped all the gold I had on me, and that distracted them. There is an achievement for that, but I think I already had it at this point, so there you go. So I headed back to the old battleground, because I knew there'd be some wither skeletons over here, and sure enough there were some, so I killed them. And one of them dropped a skull. Of course he did. On my way back, I picked up some of the stuff the piglins left for me, and got attacked by one on the way out. Oh well, guess we'll deal with this later. Ah, I see some leads. I tamed some dogs. A few months ago I tried to do that with beef, because I'm an idiot, but yep, there you go. I also solved the mystery of how this gravel's floating. It's not that complicated, it's just got string underneath it. I feel a bit stupid now. In fact, I actually found that out when I was doing the dragon. I just can't be bothered to go back and find that bit of footage, because when I saw this I remembered, and I'd already edited that bit. I then proceeded to get completely lost, somehow. I don't know how, but I did. But eventually I made it back over to the other half of the world, where I named my cats George 2. I then did this very cool epic gamer move, wherein I threw an ender pearl to catch up with a runaway minecart that I jumped out of while it was still moving and missed hitting while doing so. I then had another go at that charcoal achievement and still failed. I then realised what I'd done wrong with the sign and corrected it, getting that achievement. I then tracked down and led some zombies into the house. My intention here was to make this villager in the basement into a zombie villager who I could then cure, because there's an achievement for that. But that didn't work because this game was set to easy mode, because I just haven't changed it since I first downloaded it. Oh well, we'll come back to this. There's another achievement for making a dispenser, so I did that. There's also one for disenchanting, and it took me longer than it should have to get a stone slab to make a grindstone. But anyway, once I'd done that, I got that achievement. Next up, I dyed that armor, having failed to do so just in a crafting table and having to look up how you do it. Well, I didn't actually look it up. Now I think about it, it just says in the achievement that you have to use a cauldron. After a bit more enchanting, I attempted a hopper and chest related achievement, but I was a piece of iron short for the hopper, because now I somehow seem to have an iron shortage, no idea how. So I took all these iron swords, using a shulker box that I'd made from my trip to the end, and smelted them all down into nuggets, which I then made into ingots, which I then used to make the hopper. So with a hopper made, I still failed to complete that achievement, and eventually I realised it just wasn't worth it, so I moved on. Even though it's probably really simple when you know what you're doing. It probably would have been that hard to figure out what I was supposed to be doing, so oh well. Next up, I tracked down a pig, attached a saddle, and used a carrot on a stick to lead them around. We then fell from a high place, because apparently there's an achievement for that. I then named the shulker box Kevin, because there's an achievement for naming a shulker box. Then I caught a fish in a bucket. Then I chucked some chorus fruit into a furnace being powered by lava, although I didn't actually get the achievement at that point. I then tried and failed to get the achievement that's something to do with pulling and pushing pistons. Then I got the one to do with hitting a bullseye on a target block. I then spotted a zombie villager, looked up how to cure one, and then spent the next few minutes frantically running around to get the achievements. But of course, by the time I'd prepared everything, the villager was gone. On my way back over to the other side of the world, where there was a big open space where I'd inevitably find some more the next night, 3 llamas spawned, and I know there's an achievement for getting llamas to follow you, so I fastened a lead to one and the others followed. Surprisingly quickly, I tracked down a further 2 llamas, and after a bit of jiggery pokery and having 2 on 2 leads at one point, and I eventually managed to get 5 to follow based on 1 with a lead. So there you go, I got that achievement too. I then did a bit more research because my next plan was to throw poison at a witch. But then I remembered I'd seen a splash potion of poison in the original base, so I headed back over there. But on my way I spotted zombie villagers. So I was prepared and did what you're supposed to do. Then I spent a solid minute or two trying to get them to fall into a hole. There we go. It turned back into a normal villager, and I traded a bit because I could, why not? Then I got an achievement for trading for low prices as well, so that was nice. I wasn't expecting that. I'll keep you here for later. So I headed back to the nether. I guess it's later because we're having to deal with that piglin. Not that it was much effort. Pick up some of this junk. Back in the overworld, I randomly got that achievement for powering a furnace with lava. I guess you have to wait until it's finished being powered or something, or take the stuff out of it. I don't know, whatever. The point is I got the achievement. I then tracked down the splash potion of poison that I remembered seeing in the house, and headed back over to the other side of the world to stand in the big open field. Of course, now loads of zombie villagers spawn. Although so did a witch. Charge! Even though I can't because I don't have enough hunger to sprint. At first I felt sure I'd poisoned myself, but apparently not because I got the achievement.
The next day.
Oh, hello. Now what? Ah! Okay, apparently witches can open doors if you're close enough. Ah! Die! I'm hitting you with an arrow. Well, that's that dealt with. Next up, I went on the hunt for some dolphins. Huzzah! Take the fish. Take the fish. Oh, I did it! Right, lead me to treasure. Wait, what? Why am I... Oh, I'm drowning! Are you leading me somewhere, or are you just swimming around? Oh, well, I got the achievement, so I guess there's some buried treasure here. I then had a go at trying to bounce 30 blocks off a slime block, and failed abysmally somehow. I then took the potion of water breathing that I'd also seen in the original base, had a satisfying night of archery, and attempted to try and find that buried treasure. I failed, but at least I got the achievement for spending 2 minutes underwater. I then thought I'd have a go at a chest hopper and furnace related achievement by heading over to the big furnace room in the ugly desert, but this world's too old for that setup to be there, so there was just 2 furnaces. I headed back to the villager and traded a bit more, which gave me another achievement for trading 30 emeralds. Not realising my elytra was now damaged, I jumped off here and then, for about the 5th time, discovered how good feather falling is. Back at the base I did exactly the same thing, although this time my intention was to jump into the water, but I clipped the side of the bridge as I fell down.
Stupid!
I had one final attempt at that charcoal achievement and still failed. Then I decided to head back to the end, which first of all failed abysmally, but eventually all was well. My intention here was to get the shulker related achievement, which I should have got earlier if I'd actually looked properly. But this was going to be more effort than it was really worth, so I considered giving up, but then I remembered the copy of the world that I'd made earlier. So I went back to that, and after a bit of wandering around and getting attacked, I got the shulker achievement. So there we go. I did it. You proud of me? I'm not sure at what point I realised that this was a goal I could be going for, because I'm pretty sure when I was getting the shulker one, I still had no idea when I was really going to stop. Because obviously I can't get all of them, there are some that I'd never be able to achieve. But there we go, that's satisfying. This wasn't really supposed to be a video, but there we go. It is now. There. Great. That's it.